Hello everybody! Welcome to my third video in a series on SAT Math Review. Today, we will be covering a core skill in algebra, solving for and analyzing linear equations in two variables. Alright, so we have an interpretation problem for our first one. It states that a store sells two different sized containers of a Greek yogurt. The store's sales of this yogurt totaled $1,277.94 last month. The equation, 5.48 x plus 7.30y equals that total amount of 1,277.94, where x is the number of small containers, and y is the number of large containers. So, it is asking us that, according to the equation, which of the following represents the price in dollars of each of the smaller container. So we know that x is the amount of small containers, and it is being multiplied by 5.48, so that's the slope for x. So that value, since x is in containers, that must mean it is 5.48 is in dollars per container, because the containers will cancel out, giving us dollars. So we know that 5.48 is the price in dollars of each small container. So the answer is A. Okay, so our second question states that 3a plus 4b equals 25. And it elaborates a bit and says that a shipping company charged a customer $25 to ship some small boxes and some large boxes. And this equation represents the relationship between A, the number of small boxes, and B, the number of large boxes. If the customer had 3 small boxes shipped, how many large boxes were shipped? Okay, so since we know that A is the number of small boxes and 3 small boxes were shipped, we can plug in 3 for A. So we get 3 times 3 plus 4b equals 25. And now we can just solve for b to find out the number of large boxes that were shipped. So 3 times 3 is 9, so we can subtract 9 from both sides. So 4b equals 16. And then we can divide both sides by 4, giving us b equals 4, which is answer choice B. Alright, so this problem is free response, and it states that line k is defined by the equation y equals negative 17/3 x plus 5. And it says that line j is perpendicular to line k in the xy plane. What is the slope of line j? So to solve this problem, you have to understand the relationship between the slopes of perpendicular lines. So if line k has a slope of m, line j would have the negative reciprocal of that. So it would be negative 1 over m. So if we're applying that to this particular equation, we will have to flip the numerator and denominator, giving us 3/17. And we will add a negative to that, so that's negative 3/17. 2 negatives is a positive, and so we have 3/17 as our final answer for the slope of line j. So, this problem states that line t in the xy plane has a slope of negative 1/3 and passes through the points 9, 10. And then it is asking us which equation defines this line. Okay, so starting off, we have to recognize that the general formula for a line is y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope of the line and b is the y-intercept. Now, the question gives us our slope, which is negative 1/3. And so we can then plug that into our formula. So we get y equals negative 1/3 x plus b. Now, we are also given that passes through the point 9, 10. So, in order to find our y-intercept, we can plug in these two values into our equation and solve for b. So we will get 10 equals negative 1/3 times 9 plus b. Multiplying that out, we get 10 equals negative 3 plus b, and adding 3, we get b equals 13. Now, substituting b back into our equation, we get y equals negative 1/3 x plus 13, which is equivalent to answer choice D. Okay, so for this problem, you'll notice right away that we're given a table of 3 values of x and their corresponding values of y. And what you'll also notice is that the values for y all have the constant n in them. And it is asking us what is the slope of the line that represents this relationship in the xy plane. And while you may think initially that you may have to solve for n, you'll actually see that when solving for the slope, the n's will cancel out and we won't have to worry about finding it. So, to solve this problem, you need to understand that the slope of a line is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And this is with any 2 points that are given. So I'm just going to select the last 2 in the table. So to solve for the slope, I will take n minus n plus 92 over our x2 and x1. So 0 minus negative 3. So for the top, the n's will cancel out and we'll be left with negative 92. And then in the denominator, 2 negatives makes a positive, so we will be dividing it by 3, giving us negative 92/3, which is answer choice A. So, once again, we are given a table of values, this time with only 2 points. And, as you notice, this time there is a constant in the x values, that constant being k. So, we're told that the y-intercept of the line that is shown is k minus 5, comma, b, where k and b are constants. And so what we're meant to find is the value for b, which is the y-intercept value. So, because it's the y-intercept, we know that the x value is 0. So we know that 0 equals k minus 5. Now, you don't necessarily need to solve for k, but I'm just doing it for convenience. So we are given that k is equal to 5. So, now that we know this, we know that the table values is equal to 5 and 13, and 12 and negative 15. So we can then solve for its slope with our formula y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So negative 15 minus 13 over 12 minus 5. And we get negative 28 over 7, which is negative 4. Now we have the equation y equals negative 4x plus b. And we can plug in one of our points to solve for b. So 13 equals negative 4 times 5 plus b, which will be negative 20. And so we add 20 to both sides, and we get 33 is equal to b. That is our answer. This problem is a little trickier than the ones we have seen, but it's nothing unsolvable. So we're told that the graph of the equation ax plus ky equals 6 is a line in the xy plane where a and k are both constants. If the line contains the points negative 2, negative 6, and 0, negative 3, what is the value of k? So what I'm going to try and do first off is to try and convert this equation into the form of y equals mx plus b. So what I'll do is I'll subtract ax from both sides. So ky equals negative ax plus 6. And then I will divide by k, giving us y equals negative a over k x plus 6 over k. Now, if we look back at our points, you might notice that we're actually given the y-intercept. So we're told that one of the points is 0, negative 3, so that means that b is equal to negative 3. And we also know that 6 over k is also the value of the y-intercept. So we can set these two values equal to one another. So 6k equals negative 3, and I will multiply k on both sides, so cancel on the left, giving us 6, equals negative 3k. And then I'm going to divide by negative 3, and that will give us k equals negative 2, which is answer choice A. Okay, so for our final question, we are actually given a graph. And so we're told that the graph of y equals f of x plus 14 is shown, and that we must find the equation that defines the function f. Okay, so we're dealing with transformations here. So where I'm going to start off is just finding the equation for what we're shown in the graph. So if you look at the graph, you see that the rise over run is negative 1 over 4. So that's our slope. So we can say y equals negative 1/4 x. And we can see that the y-intercept is 2. So we can say plus 2. Now we also know that y equals f of x plus 14. So to find f of x, we can set the two y's equal to each other. So f of x plus 14 equals negative 1/4 x plus 2. Now to find the equation for f of x, we'll subtract 14 from both sides, giving us f of x equals negative 1/4 x minus 12, which is answer choice A. Alright, so that's it for today's video, and I wish you the best of luck on studying for your SATs.